tell these people what will happen in the future, so that when we read these things, we will increase our iman. Because we are living in this time that he told us that this will happen. And when the girl said these words, on that the Prophet said, leave this saying and keep on saying the verses which he had been saying before. So leave this thing that he said on, we have a Prophet that knows what will happen tomorrow. Because although he knew, he was humble. He wanted people to know that Allah knows everything. So he said, leave this. I don't like you saying this, that I know everything. I know what will happen tomorrow. Because only Allah knows what will happen tomorrow. But Allah has rewarded me by knowing these things to tell you. So he was humble. He was being humble and saying, don't say these things. So these are things that are not allowed. He's saying that there's things that are not allowed to say in the nasheeds and singing, in the verses, not singing. And keep on saying the verses which I had been already saying before. So they're singing about the mourning of the father in the war, Battle of Badr. So we see that the verses of war, when he say this in the nasheed, then it should be okay. This is Sahih al-Bukhari, another hadith. This is most authentic book. So we can see this, that the tambourine, the daf is permissible on only the 2 days of Eid and on the 3 days of Mina. And then the singing, the verses you can recite have to be clean, have to be on the path of righteousness, and you have to have a good knowledge of Islam. You have to do your salah, and then your reading of the Qur'an, and all this other righteous work before you can do this kind of things. And it has to be on specific days. Although it may be permissible to listen to nasheed with this kind of rulings once a week or like that, but it can't be regular, like you do regularly salah and Qur'an. So we see that in general music is forbidden in Islam, except for the daf, on these specific days, and the singing on these specific days by little girls or women, and this is allowed on these specific days. And you can listen to nasheeds not regularly, and you have to be righteous, you have to know the law of Islam, then you can, whenever you want, you can listen to this if you can. But it's better if you don't, because you will think this is okay and then it'll drag you into music again. But you have to, if you can, then your iman will stay strong. Then you can, whenever there's children about, you can put these on, so then they may know about Islam. If it's good things about Islam, the song is saying, then it's okay. But you can't make it a regular thing, because the Qur'an is enough for this. If you listen to the recitation, it's like, it's enough. It's not music, but it's so beautiful. You don't need anything else. You don't need anything else. And then the emotions that music makes you think is the bad emotions. And when you listen to Quran, it makes you do all these emotions, but it's for your good, because Allah is telling you these things. It makes you cry, makes you angry, makes you emotions. Same thing as it does in the other, but this is the shayateen side, this is Allah's side. It'll create you, make you better iman, make you more righteous. This will make you go to the wrong path. So there's two sides, righteous, and then the shayateen will call you, as the Prophet also said, there will be paths that the shayateen will call you to, thinking this is Islam, but there's always be one straight path. You draw the line, so this is going to be a straight path, and this is the path that I and my companions are on. So we have to follow this. And there's also more, there's about 40 hadiths that say, talk about music. The Prophet ﷺ talks about music in a haram manner, saying this haram. But of course we see that daf is allowed, but there's more hadiths saying that music is haram. So he says that there's a hadith recorded by Imam Tirmizi in the Sunan the Hadith Tirmizi, and in Hadith Imam Ibn Majah, and in Tirmizi, and this is good, it's a good hadith, sahih, authentic. Imran ibn Hussein, radiallahu anh, reports that the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "This ummah will experience the swallowing up of some people by the earth, metamorphosis of some into animals, and being rained upon with stones." Metamorphosis of some people in animals, not meaning really, meaning they will become like animals because they will do these bad deeds. A man from amongst the Muslims asked, "O Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when will this be? What time will this happen? When these people will be like these kind of animals?" He said, "When female singers and musical instruments appear, and alcohol will commonly be consumed." So what this relates to this time. So we see female singers. There are more female singers than men singers in the world. And we said that female singers, these are the voice of shayateen, they will drag you in. And singers and musical instruments will appear, and alcohol will commonly be seen. So alcohol, we'll see in the West, everyone's having alcohol drink. Even though people say they are Muslims, they are dragging themselves, and yes, and they work in haram places where they sell alcohols. They think it's okay. They think it's okay, but this is Prophet ﷺ said that they will appear like this. And whoever does these things, they will be like metamorphosis of animals. They will turn into animals. Not really, but their mindset will be like animals because they don't follow. They don't want to become righteous. They become the followers of shaitan. There's another hadith in Hadith Tirmizi. Sayyidina Ali ibn Talib radiallahu anh reports that the blessed Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "When my ummah, my people after me, the Muslim, begin doing 15 things, they will be inflicted with tribulations." When they do these 15 things he mentioned, then Allah will punish them. Allah will give them tests. Allah will give them tribulations. And from these 15 things, he said, out of these 15 things, he said, when female singers and musical instruments become common. So example, Pakistan, female singers, there are mostly female singers now, even male singers, female singers, they go with them and sing in weddings, they start singing with them. You will see in Pakistani weddings, everything, even in Bangladesh, even in India, they say they're Muslims and start dancing, music, everything. And then this is, Prophet ﷺ said that when this happen, Allah will punish them. So what happened in Pakistan? Flood. And in Bangladesh, this happened also, flood. Because they don't follow the proper way, and when they don't follow the Prophet ﷺ, this will happen. Because they are ignorant of Islam, what the true Islam is, and they don't have knowledge of the road. And there's another hadith reported in Imam Ahmad's Musnad and Sunan Abu Dawud and Sunan Ibn Majah. Nafi reports that once Abdullah ibn Umar, the son of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu anh, Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anh, heard the sound of shepherd's flute. He heard the sound of the shepherd's flute, the son of a companion radiallahu anh. He heard the flute, and he was young when the Prophet ﷺ was there, when alive. And he said, and then he covered his ears because he heard the flute of the shepherd. The shepherd was going by listening to the flute. He covered his ears, and then he said, he put his fingers into his ears, turned his mule away from the road and said, "Oh Nafi, can you hear? Can you hear?" And he's plucking his ear. He's telling the other person, "Oh Nafi, can you hear?" I, Nafi, replied with the affirmative, "Yes." He carried on walking with his fingers in his ears until I said, "The sound has ceased." The person narrating, saying, "The sound has ceased," I said that. And then the person said, Abdullah ibn Umar said, he removed his fingers from his ears after he said that the sound has finished, the flute, and came back on the road and said, "I saw the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam doing the same when he heard the flute of the shepherd." So we see from other hadiths that flute and singing and music is mentioned in the same context. So anything music, singing and flute is the same thing, dancing, music. So whoever see this, cover your eyes, or put ears in your fingers. That's how bad it is.